Hello, welcome everyone to today's encouraging conversation. And today I have from across the other side of the big pond, I have Patricia Norton. Welcome, Patricia.
Thank you so much, Looby.
So Patricia runs the A Breath of Song podcast, which is a beautiful podcast with new songs coming out to learn every week. And I've been on her Pocket Songs online choir, so that's how we know each other. And yeah, I'm really delighted you're joining me and that you've got involved with my work with the Cultural Emergence and listening to the Mother Nature podcast as well. So I love this collaboration that happens and these growing networks that happen mycelium like, and that we see the connections between our work as well, and not just through song but through changing culture and through encouraging people and collaborating and bringing our collective voices together, which you do so beautifully in song. And that's part of the journey that we need for the shifts that need to happen on the planet together. And you literally bring us into harmony together, which is, the metaphor we need for the planet at the moment. So yeah, well, welcome, Patricia.
Absolutely. I really respect what you're doing. I love the idea of shift and how do we create shift and how do we experience it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And what let's start there. And what are the shifts that you've noticed in yourself from putting the podcast out into the world? Because that's quite a brave thing to do, isn't it? To say, okay, here I am, everyone listen to me. I've got this idea. Not just listen to me talk, but listen to me sing. And it's you've had you've needed to find your courage from somewhere to do that. And what supported you and encouraged you to do that?
Well, part of it was that I didn't let myself think of it that way because if I thought that that was what I was doing, I would not do it. I would be terrified, and I would just stop. But what happened was I was looking for this podcast. I searched and searched through Apple and Spotify and everywhere that I could find podcasts, looking for a podcast that was about community singing that carried both the songs and connected me with other song sharers and song leaders and songwriters. And I couldn't find it. And also, I wanted to build a library of songs. I had started doing pocket songs by that time. So I had started, and during the pandemic, finding these songs that I could sing to myself sort of as mantras, really, as song as support, song as a way of really letting myself settle into a place that felt safe. And so I was finding these songs and I wanted a way to remember them. And so the podcast grew out of those two desires to have a record of the songs and to have a place to learn them. Often I would find a song, but it would go immediately into three parts, and it was tricky to tease out the three different parts. And so I wanted a place where the songs were taught more slowly so that I could learn them.
Mm.
So, after looking and I couldn't find one, I was like, well, maybe I'll just start creating it. And then maybe somebody better will come along and make one.
Yeah. Do you know that's the same story as me with writing people and permaculture? I was just like, oh, where's the book about people care in permaculture? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, someone will write that one day, and like, and then it was like, oh, actually, I'll write it one day when I've got all the people's care skills and when I'm a perfect person. And then it's like, yeah, maybe the world needs it before that.
Yes. Yeah, I think one of the things is not waiting until we're perfect to
Right.
do the thing because because we never get to that point, right? Perfection is always a step beyond wherever we are. And if it weren't, we wouldn't be able to see where we want to grow, right? That's what leads us to grow is being able to envision something else, something beyond. And so I can envision myself as singing better, with a better voice, with a, I can envision and hear ways that I could be doing things, or that is, I keep using the word better, but so I kind of can envision this other way of being, which means I have space to grow. I have directions I can explore. But if I thought I can't put anything out there until I get to that point, it would never happen.
Right, and it's through doing that we grow.
Yes,
So we, that we
yes,
can only get to, like, I'm now in my second year of being a song leader, but I could only get to the second year by going through the first year. And the
yes.
first year is a learning process. I can only get to the second drafts of my book or of any book by going through the first drafts. And that's
First draft.
actually what's now helped me with producing the card deck, that is by saying, okay, well, actually, let's go through the first drafts and let's get better by doing the first draft. And then I was kind of noticed myself in this gap between, like, okay, well, I've done now the first draft, but now I want to do the final draft. And oh my god, that's now scary to kind of commit there. And it was like, okay, let's just do the second draft, and the second
Yes,
draft will be even better than the first draft. And some of the second drafts might be so good that they are actually the final drafts, but I can release that little gremlin and that little voice of, like, is it good enough? Am I perfect enough? Are the drawings perfect enough? By just this idea of drafts, which is the same idea of, like, growing in the process, and that, whether it's our design work or our writing or our artwork or singing, it all grows as we do it and gets
yes,
better and more refined. Or, yeah, I agree, this word better is interesting, isn't it? Because that somehow negates the beginner's mind, which can be really fresh and inspirational in a way that the mature mind isn't. So
yes,
it's not
exactly. So it's
necessarily.
not really a question of better. It's a difference, maybe a question of different,
Yeah, yeah, refined, mature. Yeah,
polished. Yeah, there's something about the energy of a raw beginning that is so beautiful,
yeah.
and you don't want to lose that.
Yeah, and there's like this drawing I did here. I forgot, is sort of connection practices, and this came out at a sit spot, and it was like a 5-10 minute thing, but it's just got a freshness to it that if I really try and do it and try and do it perfectly, it loses some of that organic and that dynamic flow
Mhm.
that happens. So there is something to be said for the jumping in and being, like, that beginner's mind, that enthusiasm, that and flow and freeness that comes before you've kind of settled into the patterns of how you write or how you sing or how you do artwork or how you have a conversation, or those patterns that become embedded.
I'm so fascinated when I talk with song sharers about how many songs that we love, that people sing and share over and over again. When you talk with the person who caught the song originally, or who put it out there in the world, they'll say the song just dropped in, whole and fully formed, and there it was. For many, many, many of the songs. And then there are some songs where somebody says, well, I worked with it, I worked with it. And the challenge of that, I mean, I think that's where the craft is to be able to recognize when it's dropped in whole and fully formed and doesn't need to be changed. There it is. And where it's dropped in and there's 90% of it is there and it's solid, but with tweaking, it could maybe become more of itself. Maybe there's something there that is an accretion. Maybe there's something in that was added, at a moment of brain work that's not actually genuine to the song itself. And it's a little bit of an uncovering. What does the song want to be? What was the song trying to be? Let's hear what that is.
Mm.
What is the harmony that wants to happen that's kind of already there? Can I uncover what that harmony is? And then when I find it, there it is. And you have this moment of recognition of, oh, there it just sounds like it could never be anything else.
Yeah, lovely. Lovely. And I know um your the songs that you do are also coupled with artwork as well from Patty, isn't it?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that's a beautiful way in which the song becomes visual and the words become visual, and which is what I'm doing with the card deck here, is like how do the words and the concepts and the ideas become visual so that they engage another part of our brains and our beings as well. It's like the visual mind goes, as does music, it goes beyond the linear language mind, doesn't it? It kind of drops in as a whole.
Yes. And it also tags into the way that we learn and our memories. I find that my memory of those songs now is intricately connected with Patty's artwork. For each episode, when I think of the song, the image that she created pops up in my mind immediately. And if I think of the image, I can remember the song.
Mm.
And so that connection is a beautiful thing. But another thing I find about the artwork, maybe because I'm not a visual artist, I find it very restful and it lets me drop into a part of myself. So sometimes I go, for the podcast, I have a page that's just her artwork. And then if you click on the artwork, it takes you to the podcast with the song. But when I go to those pages and I just look at a page of art, and when I saw your Kickstarter and I saw the cards, the sample cards and the artwork, the just being in the presence of that visual input, um, what I feel is open and relaxed in a different way, released in a different way. It's like, as you said, the different part of your brain kicks in. And for me, that feels like an opening that
Yeah,
I get from visual that I don't get from reading words on a page.
absolutely. Well, hey, should we see what the cards say? And would you like to ask a question of the cards, and we can take it in any direction you like, and let's see what comes live in the moment, not pre-prepared.
Okay. Well, can I ask a concrete question?
You can.
How,
Oh, yeah, go. Let's see. What's your question?
let's so I don't know what kinds of questions you want, but so I'm beginning to consider creating in-person singing, which I haven't done. I'm in a new city for myself. We moved a year ago, and I haven't done in-person things here. I don't have a group of people who know me, who've, experienced singing with me. And I'm thinking about, well, how do I put the word out? How do I do it without it feeling kind of like schlucky advertising, slimy sales pitch push kind of thing, which is so unpleasant. How do I find a way into sharing the programs that I'm offering? Is
Mm.
that,
Yeah, lovely. I know I'm where I guess the opposite of the kind of icky marketing that you were sort of alluding to there is sharing who you are authentically, and
yes,
sharing like an authentic, um like it's almost like an authentic connection that you're trying to share with people so that they can like grab hold of that sort of essence of like, okay, this is who Patricia is, and this is what I'd like, what your singing circles are about.
I want them to be able to make the choice. I want to give them an opening and, as you said, a sense, an essence of this is who I am and this is the kind of singing circle that I offer so that they can make the choice.
Ah, lovely. So yeah, so question, so How do I share who I am authentically, or is
Yeah,
that is
yeah, that works.
work? Okay. Okay, let's see what comes. Sometimes two cards want to come, sometimes one, and sometimes it's a bit mysterious. Hmm. Um, this is what's come for me. The music. um, yeah, be authentic, be attentive to timing, wait for the right moment, feel the timing in your body, and create agreements about timing. Mm. And the picture, if you're listening rather than seeing, is the treble clef and music, because that's all about timing, isn't it?
A music staff and a music staff that's in motion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm. So what
Yeah.
does that resonate with you then as a response to your question?
Mm. Well, immediately when you held that up, I thought, oh, right, I should actually share the music. So I'm thinking about open circles, inviting people to come experience singing with me before I open the programs.
Yeah,
So ways of inviting people to come actually have the in-person experience.
yeah,
Um, and the timing, maybe that happens in many different, maybe I make those singing circles happen at many different times of day, literally taking that to, because people are able to come at different times, right?
yeah. Yeah, and then feeling that timing in your body of what the difference is then between holding a circle, an energizing circle in the beginning of the day to a kind of relaxing circle at the end of the day, or what, yeah, what's that difference in your body that will be a difference in other people's body as well.
Yes, yes. It's really interesting. I create circles generally following an arc. I think of when I choose songs to sing in any kind of circle, I think about, beginning with a welcoming and a gathering kind of song, and then moving into a gratitude and an appreciation or a presence, something that makes us aware of the world around us, and then moving into maybe grief and the pain that there is in the world and being able to feel that, and moving into praise and that other side, the other side of grief, the awareness of what we've lost and the beauty of what is there, and then moving into power and awareness of our own power and presence, and then finally moving into some kind of a protection or a blessing or um, a sending out, and how the energy of those songs can be different, as you said, depending on the time of day and the makeup of the group and the energy of the group.
Mm.
So I often choose different available songs when I'm doing in-person sings. I choose because I'm not putting up words on a Zoom. When I do it on Zoom, I choose the songs ahead of time because I'm going to be sharing lyrics in the chat. When I do it in person, there's much more responsiveness to that actual moment and the actual presence.
Mm.
Yeah. Which I'm looking forward to getting back to. I've missed that.
Yeah, lovely, lovely. When you're talking about it, it feels so authentic and that sharing. And so also when your question of how do I share authentically who you are and to invite people in, I'm also seeing and the visual here again, because maybe on the podcast we hear you but we don't see you, and so maybe there's something about
Right.
being seen and so that people can connect with you authentically in that way as well. Yeah. Yeah. Wow, lovely. Yeah, I'm waiting for the right moment and seeing um, how that feels so that when you want to share who you are, you're feeling authentic in that. And so it's the right timing for
Yeah,
you
yeah,
to show up. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Lovely.
And also maybe being in whatever time I'm actually in, rather than, sometimes when we're presenting something, it's tempting to present the finished version that we're imagining. But there's something about presenting what actually is here right now. I mean, I loved working with that card, which is maybe not your finished card, right? And I love that you're doing this Kickstarter to find the funds to create the finished deck. But also that card that you just brought right now was so helpful and so in this moment.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, so yeah, it's true. Like you could what I'm hearing from you there is like you could be like, okay, this is the autumn or the fall where over in the US the program, and this is what it will be like, and this is the shape of it. But actually the reality of it might be where you are now of like, I really want to do it. Who wants to do it with me? What can
Yes,
we
yes,
co-create? When do you want to
yeah,
do it? What do
yeah,
you know, how long do you want to do it for? How many weeks do you want to do it for? And being authentic in that you are in the process of designing it and planning it, and it's a great time for people to input. Yeah, actually I'd like a drop-in one, or I'd like a closed circle, or like morning, or yeah, so to plan it, to almost like be inviting people into that co-creation process with you by not having all the
yes,
answers. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, lovely. Lovely. Before we go, is there anything you'd like to share with people about how you give and receive encouragement, and any final thoughts about that?
Mm. Well, as I said, your description of these encouraging conversations has really affected my last couple of weeks as I've been thinking about what is encouraging. And so just the tending to the word encouragement and encouraging has shifted things for me. I love the sense of encouragement as, courage coming from heart. And so that sense of encouragement being actually a connection to my own heart. And when I talk with other people, like just this conversation with you, and when I connect with other people, I often find that my awareness of my own heart is heightened because I notice how I react to what somebody else says. And it's heightened and it's opened. And so I love that idea that in conversation, we actually get encouragement. We deepen that connection to our own heart in that exchange
Mm,
with another person. That
yeah.
we as humans are meant to operate together, that we're designed to become more aware of ourselves in connection with another person.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I love that. We're designed to be.
To become more aware of ourselves in connection with another person.
That's beautiful. I love that. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Well, I'll take that away
Ah,
with me. For sure. Yeah. I wonder if do you have a song maybe that's popped your awareness? So sorry to put you on the spot there, Patricia, but I know you have so many songs, but maybe there's one that's like,
Lead with your heart, friends. The way is unfolding. The way is clear. You already know. That's an Ian Carrick song. Lead with your heart, friends.
oh,
This opening of the way. Yeah.
Yeah, what a perfect song to arrive in this moment. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you so much, Patricia. I feel encouraged from this conversation, and yeah, I hope everyone else does that's listening, and that you feel encouraged to go and have an encouraging conversation with someone. It's quite easy, as you say. It's like a shift in that thought of like and how that intention when we open to a conversation with someone else to intend for it to be encouraging to both of you.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much, Luby, for bringing this kind of encouraging energy into the world, into and presencing who you are. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah, thank you. And I'm really hoping that the cards will bring that extra layer of encouragement to our
Mm.
conversations when they come through. So yeah, thank you everyone that's been supporting and pre-ordering their card deck. It's really
I
helpful.
am really looking forward to holding one in my hand and to just seeing the colors and the ray and feeling that opening that, as I said, I get from visual art. Yeah. Thank you for making it.
Yeah, thank you, Patricia. Bye bye, everyone. Thank you for listening.